In the year 1987, United Nations decided to observe 26th June as International Day for Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. We have seen in the society different vices, young generation going out of way and using drugs. Using drugs and drug abuse is a quite big difference. And today to discuss on this topic, we have Superintendent of Police Karthik Kashyap, who is handling anti-narcotic cells of Goa. Welcome, sir. Then we have a social worker and clinical psychologist, Anita Karambalkar. Welcome, madam. And Dr. Rajesh Dume, who is a senior psychiatrist in District Hospital Mapsa and has been doing lot of work of rehabilitation and counseling. Welcome. Sir, is Goa drug free or there is a free sale of drugs in Goa? Why there is drug abuse? Why Goa is thought of as a hot spot?
The answer to that question is that answer lies somewhere in between. It's neither drug free and neither it is a place where drugs are sold freely. Our objective is to cut down on the supply side as far as possible. We are doing our best, and the last 20 months I have been handling this particular unit. The seizure itself, we have seized drugs over 16 crores and arrested over 70 people for all commercial quantity cases who are still in judicial custody. So that shows the kind of efforts that what we are doing on the supply side to cut down the supply of drugs is concerned. And as far as the other aspect, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Doctor, now see, I am growing, my age has grown. I have to control my blood pressure, so doctor advises me some drug. Then my cholesterol is going up, again there is a drug. So using different types of drugs for medication, do I get used to these drugs and I overuse and then I become a prey?
I think what you are talking about drugs and what we understand about this day is two different issues altogether. First and foremost, what you say drugs, we call them as medication. Whereas what we say as drugs is the illicit drugs that are available in Goa or anywhere else in the world. Goa's scenario is not different than the international scenario, which means the illicit drugs that come under the NDPSA Act are listed out. Those are the drugs which are focused on 26th. The remaining come under the purview of medication, which is generally useful for maintaining health. These are not useful in any way to maintain health and hence are unhealthy. So basically we are looking at substances of abuse, classically those substances that are listed under the NDPSA Act.
So where do these drugs come from and how easily they are available?
If you look at the scenario, drugs are available right from the medieval times. It is not a new thing that drugs are available. Any drugs that were supposed to be mind altering was used to take care of some sort of stresses. If you go up north, you will find Rishi Munis and their association with opium. Opium was also grown in various reasons because people felt by using that you would probably aid in your sadhana and improve your concentration. There are still such beliefs going on. But the use of drugs in Goa is taking a very different trend. The trend is akin with international trends. What we have noticed is that people in the young generation are falling prey to drugs because mostly of peer pressures. And this peer pressure is also a part of some sort of fashion and fad. You like a particular music, a music group, somebody you hear that are doing those type of medications or drugs, then you try to abuse. So it's peer pressure, it's about fad, it's about fashion, it's about feeling cool about doing something. Rather, not doing drugs is cool. Doing drugs isn't cool. So succumbing to something is not cool. Resisting something that is such a temptation as drugs is cool. So that's the message we would really like to get out on the 26th June, that saying no to drugs is cool.
Madam, in continuation with this, how do you handle such cases when people approach you?
So first let us understand actually why does an adolescent get into this. Basically this risk-taking behavior is very strong in an adolescent mind because the adolescent's brain is wired in such a way. It has a lot to do when sir would basically speak about it. You know, there's a difference in the developmental phases behind in your limbic side and the prefrontal cortex. The part of the limbic basically handles emotion. Your prefrontal cortex is basically talking about decision making, logical reasoning. Now since that part grows faster than your logical reasoning side, so any arousal, any emotional stress gets your emotions aroused higher. The brake system is like, you know, the youth brain is like the car which has an accelerated this thing. The racing is high but the brakes are not working at that same time. So at the time, if suppose that the individual's makeup is also emotionally weak, parental support is not there is no proper guidance, and any situation like this, a person can take a decision which is going to be a high risky decision for that person.
So, sometime back in Porvorim, Nigerians came and did some halla gulla, there was an attack from their side. Recently, Israeli diplomat was there in Goa and he has said that his government is not supporting any type of drugs in Goa or any people who are involved from their country. Does our Goa government or Goa police have collaboration or some understanding with Israel government?
All of us are members of the UN and all of us observe this day, and all the member countries are equally serious in combating this problem with an iron hand. As far as the state is concerned, as far as the law enforcing agencies are concerned, it is very, very clear, our mandate is very clear to deal with anybody who is involved in smuggling of narcotic substances or any kind of drug trafficking with an iron hand. It is very clearly instructed to us. And as far as sharing of intelligence with not just the Israeli or the foreign governments are concerned, foreign law enforcing agencies are concerned, with other units also within our country, with other state polices, we actively share information, we actively coordinate, by virtue of which lot of action, lot of seizure, lot of people involved in this trade are arrested in different parts of the country and also in different parts of the world also. So it happens to a proper chain of command. There are different agencies, different units to handle and share intelligence of that magnitude.
Our tourism minister, GTDC officials are making tours abroad for trade fairs and promoting Goa as tourist destination.
Right.
But does Goa Tourism Development Corporation or Tourism Department have any program which is in relation with you, built with you, to say that drugs are not welcome to Goa?
When I speak on behalf of the government, the GTDC or the tourism department or the police, as far as or the home department, does not have any difference as far as the policy on drugs is concerned. It is very, very clear. We do not entertain any such activity here in Goa. But considering the fact that this is a tourist destination, there is lot of inflow of foreign tourists, and particularly due to historical reasons, due to the hippie culture and all those things which was prevailing here, there is a tendency of certain group of foreigners who are abusers and as well as dealers to come during a particular time of the year and try and make quick money out of it, try and make a business out of it, try to make a living out of it. But as far as the Goa police and the Goa government is concerned, we are very clear, we will not let this happen and we will deal with them with an iron hand.
Madam, earlier you said that adolescents are falling prey. So what is the family role in this?
So the biggest role is the family role. At this particular time, when the adolescent is growing, the risk taking is so very high. It's totally up to the upbringing, how the parents are basically getting the child, the safe zone. Like normally during our training time, a parent is so used to saying don't do it. The point is, the moment you say don't, then the adolescent says why not. So rather than saying don't do it, if we give the reasons behind, the safeguard of it, the process takes place, okay, if I get into this might be the repercussions of it. Secondly, again, the media. The modern trend is such that you have that hunky-punky style and you are, the cigarette in your hand, they seem to be, you're a macho person. So a person who does not have a cigarette in the peer group, he seems to be, out of this. So to be a part of the group, he gets into it. So we need to have a sufficient marketing from our side also, as parents, as the institution, to say that this is bad, as Sir rightly said. What is bad is considered to be very cool, which is actually not cool. And we somewhere are lagging behind it. The parents needs to pass on this message. In the, you can say, transition of, copying the Western culture, of being a friend of the child, we parents are somewhere lagging behind in actually developing the emotional strength of the individual. So whenever he is facing that particular situation, he has to say whether I should do this or no. He goes for a party, fine. He sees something is happening there, but he doesn't see the other people who are not consuming it. He has to focus on the other side also. And that party day is not the entire day. There is life behind it. That has to be.
So, doctor, one who enters inside, does he become Abhimanyu, not able to come outside?
Very good comparison.
Framed.
I don't know who will become Abhimanyu. My problem is this. See, a user who uses, say for example, a drug like heroin, how long will it take for him to become an addict? Is an answer I can't answer.
Everybody's physical.
Yeah, it could be just one use can lead him into a permanent addict, or several uses may not make him a permanent addict. I'll give you a corollary to this. You have 100 drinkers of alcohol, only about 25% start becoming addicts. Remaining continue to drink alcohol, probably in high quality quantities also, however they do not turn out to be addict. So there is something that goes wrong in the wiring in some individuals. Who are these individuals? Those who have a family history of addiction.
Very interesting.
Those who have family history of some sort of psychological problems, those who have peers who are into this company. I mean, those from beginning only they find if the father is smoking, drinking in the house, drinking and smoking and eating and sleeping and bathing appear to be similar activities. Then the question in the mind is that if bathing is normal, eating is normal, why drinking and smoking isn't? Daddy does it, so why don't I? So is it learning that teaches a child, or is it observation that teaches a child? Is it genetic that prones him for addiction, or is it observation, genetics, learning that prones it for it? Answer is complex. We do not know. Hence, we have to educate them, because what we have to now do is to create a workforce in young India which finds reasons to go away from drugs and drugs of abuse. Like people are saying that today exercise is something that is very necessary. It took many years for us to get into this rhythm of getting into an exercise regimen. Now you believe that your cholesterol or your diabetes, there is an element called as exercise, isn't it? So similarly, when we tried to use the medium of education as telling people the rights and wrongs because of XYZ, just telling a teenager today, don't, like Anita said, it wasn't going to work. You give it reasons. And if you're telling a child, don't do this, then tell him what to do, because there are 10 people outside who will misguide him. And a very restless mind is always going to ask questions outside. Hence, questions should be answered at home. So you have a working father, a working mother, less family time. Where the time for questions?